I'm lazy, huh? I don't put no contents out on the weekend, huh? I'm black, huh? Well, you're gonna have to deal with me when it comes to this YouTube stuff, you know. Just saying. Oh, by the way, hello viewers. Mornings. Another beautiful day. Hope your five senses work. Health and strength is good or excellent. What? Alright. Hey. Oh, I don't put no content on, huh? Hey, so what y'all don't see is the avalanche that's coming. Alright. I got videos done. So yeah. I got some content for you. Anyway, what do we got for you? Hope you viewers' health and strength is good though in 2025, you know. Yeah. Take care of that health, man. Anyway, now, of course, you know, every day brings this new every day brings on a new challenge, you know. So yeah, gotta deal with it, man. That's the way it is. That's life, and life is nothing but bills. Pay it. Anyway, what do we got here? Windows 11 is getting more popular among gamers. Really? Not so sure about that, but anyway, listen to this. It says here, Windows 11 continues to grow, attracting more Windows 10 users as their operating system gets closer to the end of support. On the global market, Windows 11 is still behind Windows 10, even though the gap is shrinking fast. On the gaming side, though, Windows 11 is much more popular. According to Valve's latest Steam hardware survey result from March 2025, Windows 11 recently had 55.34% of all Windows machines that participated in the survey. And it says, remember, the participation is optional, so the final data does not represent 100% of all users. After a strange dip in February 2025, Windows 11 back in first place with an 11.24 increase. Windows 10 is the second most popular operating system on Steam with 40.58% market share, down by 12.76 points in 2025. This decline is hardly surprising considering Windows 11 offering more gaming features like auto HDR, direct storage, and more. And it says, still don't expect Windows 10 to disappear from Steam even after end of support in 2025. Windows 7, a long outdated system, still has 0.11%, a plus 0.01 points in March 2025, even though it cannot even run the latest Steam version. Overall, Windows overwhelming 96.10% share on Steam, and that's a negative 1.48 points. Linux is second with 2.33, plus 0.88 points, and Mac OS is third with 1.58, plus 0.61 points. It says, as for hardware preference, NVIDIA RTX 3060 is once again the most popular graphics card among users with a 4.94 market share. The RTX 4060 is second with 4.6%, and its laptop variant is third with a 4.32. The most popular AMD card is the Radeon RX 6600 with 0.86. Other hardware picks include 16 gigs of RAM, a 6-core processor, 8 gigs of memory, up to 250 gigs of memory primary drives, and a 1080p display. Yeah, and that is that. So, what are the politicians saying about this? Especially when the title says Windows 11 is getting more popular amongst gamers. Anyway, let's see what the politicians are talking about here. What they got? What you got here? What are the politicians talking about here? Oh, let's see here. Who is this? SETA said this. Basically, they're coming to grips that Windows 10 is going bye-bye in 7 months. And then notice that if you don't have the hardware, $30 is not bad deal for extended patching. And then Becker said this, I agree, but someone who either runs a pirated copy of Windows or bought one of those gray market keys for $10 is definitely not going to be willing to pay $30 just for updates. Let's see. And this is why you get Linux if you can't afford updates. Anyway, and then who is this? AccuFace said this. The people who don't pay for the software don't have a right to complain about Microsoft ending support. That is true, you know. And then Rigby said this: the OS that launched 3 years ago and is free upgrade, as well as the only version that is sold on new computers, has still barely caught up to the previous release. That support is being ended soon. That's not impressive at all. It has to rank up there with their biggest flops. Who is this? Then Becker said this: I have to disagree. Windows 11 market share growth is typical of most versions of Windows, with the big exception of Windows 10. Windows 10 wasn't all that popular either, with tons of people on this very forum complaining about it and trying to stick to Windows 7. However, Windows 10 had two things going for it: the massively unpopular Windows 8, which meant Win 7 users had less time to move to Windows 10 before losing support, and Microsoft heavy-handed force upgrade. Says there. Then he says they never truly force users to upgrade to Windows 10, but they would pop up upgrade prompts every few weeks, and doing anything but pressing no would result in your system performing the upgrade. Click X to choose the prompt without reading it. Microsoft considered that a yes let your computer on while you were on a vacation, and that message was just on the screen without any interaction. That's a yes too. Already said no 6 times and then pressed don't show this again without first pressing no for the 7th time. You guessed it, that was considered a yes. Yeah, Microsoft playing games here. And then who is this? Yona said this: since the Get Windows 10 debacle, I wonder what the market share of Windows 8.1 would have been if the operating system had been a free upgrade for Windows 7 users back in 2013, 2014. Good point. Who was this? Nikki said this: agreed. After 3 years, Windows 11 is finally becoming reasonable stable, since it is now the default OS on any new PC. Of course, the percentage of it used is going to increase. Users have no other viable choice with new PCs. Of course there is Linux, you know. Just saying. He says, who is this? And then Becker come back again. He says, I suspect Windows 8 still would have been deeply unpopular. People genuinely hate the UI design, even if you were willing to give it a chance. It was in an utterly incomplete state, with probably 90% of settings requiring you to find an old Windows 7 dialog box. When you think of commonly referenced unpopular versions of Windows, ME, Vista, 8, 11, Windows 8 is the one that stands out as the genuine deficiency. All other had reasons they were overshadowed by more dominant versions, but could have easily stood on their own absent competition from their older or younger siblings. Says there. Then he says, if we imagine what would have happened to the hypothetical world where Windows 8 was the latest OS for 5 years, and users were being forced off the Windows 7 with no option but Windows 8, then I suspect third-party start menu replacement tools would have become the norm. Luckily, Microsoft was at least self-aware enough to cut their losses and release Windows 10 early. I think the heavy push for upgrading to Windows 10 was in part to cover Windows 8 mistakes. Of course, come on now. Anybody knows that. Anyway, who else is this? Then Yona said this: thank you for humoring my discussion for that scenario. I understand this is of no particular, but I do entertain these thoughts because the operating system is one for which I personally have 5 full genuine boxes, retail copies. Your comments did remind me of the report indicating that Windows 8.1 would see additional improvements or incremental updates, but Windows 10 seemed to have upended that notion. I really think if Microsoft kept working on the version, it's releasing interactive live tiles. That's something good, really something else. Could have happened. A lot of pushback in hindsight was due to Windows 8 being the first version of a new product. It should have been expected that there would be aspects that needed additional work. The Windows Store is brought to mind, but users judge it on what it was and not on what it was meant to do. Yeah. Microsoft and their Windows products, man. And then who is this? Then Becker comes back again. Yeah, I agree. He says, yeah, I agree with the notion that Windows 8 was heading in the right direction. That is why Windows 10 Start menu was such a great idea. It brought back the popular design people wanted while maintaining some of the good ideas introduced in Windows 8. As much as I tend to be a Windows 11 defender on this forum, I will admit that the Windows 10 Start menu was, in my opinion, vastly superior to Windows 11 iOS looking Start menu. I also don't understand why Microsoft finally got people interested in tiles. They decided to ditch them. If there is one thing I hate most about Microsoft, it is that they change their minds about major decisions every few years, but never fully migrate to the new idea, leaving a hodgepodge of a different looking feature and something missing functionality. It's Microsoft, man. Yeah. Now you see why I come over. Now you see why I got at them over the console ban. But anyway, Turing Glive said this. I was on the same Windows 10 boat until a $6 game on Steam made me upgrade my whole system just because my CPU was too old to run the game engine. And then Ringo said this. This is nothing new. Anyone buying a pre-built does not have a choice. Anyone that has to use Windows and wants security updates will jump as well. At some point, drivers from AMD and NVIDIA, etc., will dry up for Windows 10. And see, this is why I tell you to get. Have two PCs. Then it says basically 99% of people are forced at some point. So, see, this is why I tell people always have two computers when it comes to Microsoft. One running Windows 11, one running Windows 10, and you have nothing to worry about. All right. And old guru said this. Windows 11 does not work right for gaming, especially when it comes to memory latency and 0.1% and 1% lows. Your best bet is Windows 10, and I am not seeing Windows 11 getting any better, but worse. And then AccuPhase said this. I find your lack of faith disturbing. Yeah, so those are all the comments, man. This is why I tell people when it comes to Windows, you have two computers, one running Windows 10, one running Windows 11. So when Microsoft is sitting there doing all these changes, you're prepared. You know, that's how it works with Windows. That's how it works with Linux, and that's how it works with our Mac OS. You always got to have two computers in your home, man. One running the previous OS, and one running the latest. That's how you do it. Or sometimes you can have three computers or four, depending on the person. But for a single person, I would say two. You need two computers. And of course, things happen. Just saying. Anyway, I'm gonna leave this video for y'all to enjoy though. When it comes to Windows, I saw this article, figure I jumped on it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, still a Star Wars and Star Trek thing. Or Dark Action. Go. Peace. Oh. Get over here.